Welcome to The Fashion Department, a podcast that will explore the world of fashion and how it informs all aspects of life, from dress to lifestyle to food and travel. From stylists to designers to influencers to shop owners, you'll hear the latest scoop du jour. And now let me introduce you to your fabulous host, Tina Bricoli, a Greenwich, Connecticut-based wardrobe stylist and radio show personality. With over 20 years in the fashion industry, Tina will share her take on style, trends, the business of fashion, and her sartorial sense. Here's your host.
Welcome back to the Fashion Department. Once again, I am joined by two fabulous guests to talk about none other than shopping thrift, vintage, and upcycled. I have Angela and Liz. They're back from Thrift. I want to call you the Thrift Sisters.
Thank you. I put that on our TikTok. Did you see? The Thrift Sisters. I think we need a show.
I think so. So they are the two of the four owners and operators of a store called Thrift. It's in Norwalk, Connecticut. It is just a quick train ride away or drive from New York City. And they have a new business celebrating a year anniversary. They have a really, really wide selection. They have something for everyone. It's a really wonderful little boutique. I'm going to call you guys a boutique, if you don't mind, because it is. It's kind of a specialty store, but yet there's something for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. So for listeners that haven't heard or don't know, I want to get into about what you have in the store. First of all, it's women-owned, 4 sisters.
Yep.
And 2 of you are here, and I'm so excited because Angela's been here before, but Liz has not.
Yes.
And I'm like, and my dream is to have all 4 of you one day.
We're going to get it. We're going to get it.
We're going to get it. Maybe season 3.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us back.
Absolutely. It's a local business. We're here in the studio in Norwalk, so you guys are neighbors, and just a fabulous little store. But I want to get into a little bit about what you have in the store now and, what you have upcoming. And, we'll talk a little bit more also about your individual backgrounds. Okay. So first of all, what's new in the store?
Right now, today, actually, before I came here, I just put all summer, spring vintage dresses in. We also got a ton of summer dresses, just casual to throw on. Shorts. We changed everything over from winter to spring, summer. So if you have an event, you could definitely find something. Bathing suits. We have new with tags. We have a ton.
Our bathing suits are all new.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, they're awesome. Bikinis, really adorable bikinis.
Cute vintage tees. I put out those hot, bright tees too that the kids like for summer. You know, they're kind of washed out, but they're still bright, like the beach tees. Ton of those we have. Hawaiian shirts are big right now.
Oh, yes.
Boys love those. Cool. Girls love those too. So we have a section of that.
Right.
And prom shoes. We have beautiful shoes right now too. Forgot. We have if you're going to a party or you need something to throw on, beautiful shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can try on. You have a little dressing room, right?
Yes, right in the back.
Yes. Okay. And if someone wants to ship, if someone wants
we
to
do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you're outside the city or in different part of the country, they can message you.
Right.
Yeah, and we have some items listed. We just figured it out. It took us a little while, but we have some items listed on our website and Instagram. We're trying hard.
You can shop directly on Instagram or the website, and we can ship it. But also, if we just happen to post something in a picture that you like, send us a message and we can tell you the size, the price. Happy to ship it out.
Yeah.
Okay. And so your Instagram handle is at Thrift Connecticut, spelled out.
Exactly.
That's Thrift Connecticut. And what's the website?
The website is thriftct.com.
Okay, thriftct.com. But I'm guessing Instagram probably has the most current stuff, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like it's a shopping app, right? Everybody shops.
It's crazy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, things have changed.
Everything is right in front of you. Click, you want it, you get it.
Add to cart, right?
It is.
Yeah. All right. I know. I love it. And so I want to talk about one of my favorite things in the store are the flannels.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
They are so cute. So we had seen over the last few months that these vintage sort of flannels were in and they were everywhere. So our sister Nicole, who lives out in Texas, started upcycling flannels for us. And what she does is she either takes a vintage iron-on tee from the 70s and 80s or just a band tee from current.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she cuts it out, makes it really cool, puts it on, sews it onto the back of the flannel. They will also do bleach tie dyeing and they have been selling really well.
Yeah.
Everyone loves them. People
I
have
own them.
contacted. Yes.
I own 2.
Thank you. We're so
Thank
grateful
you.
for that.
You know,
Thank you.
when I came in and saw them, I was like, it was really hard to decide, first of all.
Yeah, everyone says that.
Well,
Yeah.
because they're one of a kind.
Yeah.
So there's no 2 that are alike.
Exactly.
So I was like, well, it's a choice between the actual flannel, like the color and the pattern.
Right.
And then the graphic.
Exactly.
I was like,
I know.
And a lot of people like the way they feel too, because
Yes.
since they're upcycled, they're softer.
They're very soft.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. A lot of people like
So
the feeling
true.
too.
I had to go with one of them I have is Biggie Smalls,
Oh,
Notorious B.I.G.
okay.
because I loved him. I still do. And I think the other one is, I think it was Prince. I forget
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I was wearing it. I moved last year, and there was one I was wearing. I swear, I think I wore it for like a week straight because I was like unboxing boxes, and I just kept throwing that on because it was easy, it was comfortable, and if I got hot, you know,
Right.
I could take it off. But I love both of mine.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
the Notorious B.I.G. I think that's the purple one. One of them is purple for sure, and like a plaid, and it was very
Right.
cool. So,
Well, thank you.
My
Thank you.
favorite. All right, so what's it like? So there's 4 of you. What's it like running a business with your sisters? I know you all each have like a little. You have your own role, and who plays the biggest role, and who plays the most influential role?
Oh.
I think Angela's playing the biggest role for sure right now.
Like
She
physically,
is
she's
physically in the
Okay.
store almost every day.
Yeah.
If not
Okay.
every day.
I have a
And-
problem. I can't also stay away.
Right.
Oh,
Like
that's a good problem.
She's never
Yeah.
been the control freak sister, but
I'm a
she's
little bit of a
becoming
control
it.
freak. Not a control freak
No,
though. I
you
just like
have it a
things to
certain
look
way.
nice. I
Of
like
course.
Got it.
Well,
if
we don't want the
something
store
doesn't
not
look
to.
like I
Right.
could tell who did it.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying? Like
right.
I have a little bit of a standard,
It's-
even though it's
Yeah,
not
but
a standard,
no.
but like if it's gonna be done, let's do it
The right way.
visually okay. Like
Yeah.
I'm more visual, so if I don't like something, I like
She also moves things around a lot.
yes.
Well, it's your
But
baby.
it's important.
And I'm
it has
also
to look,
there the
But
most,
we also
too,
want it to
so-
look fresh.
Right.
We always want it to look like, you know, if you came in last week, we want you to see the new merchandise that's come in, or
Right.
you might not have seen something. So it's constantly, you're definitely running things right now in the store.
Yeah.
And then we need you to,
Yeah.
so we appreciate it. But she's definitely doing the most merchandising and even just handling our back stock. And she did you really did it all. She really flipped the store on her own from fall to spring just because I got called away. And my other sister has 2 boys graduating from college this week. And so
Yeah.
it's just
Wow.
been
It's been a little
complete
crazy.
chaos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our lives are always chaotic.
But this
There's always
month has
something going on,
been-
but this
yeah.
month has been a little threw us for a loop.
Well, because
Yeah.
you're 4 moms,
Yeah.
you all have
Yes.
children.
Yes.
So you're all married and all have children.
There's 15 kids between us.
14.
14. Did I say 15?
She added
Yeah.
one.
Oh, the
She
dogs,
added-
maybe.
Don't put that energy out there right
Not
this
on
second.
me. Not on them.
Is there something you want to tell us?
No.
Please.
I got my baby Rocky, and he's going to
Little
stay my
doggy.
baby.
But
Okay.
all of them, my 3 sisters have 4 children each.
Yeah.
And then I have 2.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
yeah.
Okay.
So Nicole has 3 girls and a boy. Danielle has 4 boys. Angela has 2 and 2, and I have 1 and 1.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. So working moms, I hate to say that because I always feel like moms do work. So
Yes,
what's
yeah,
like a double?
outside the home,
yeah,
it's
but
a lot.
outside
I
the
mean,
home,
it's a
right?
lot to be home all day with your children.
Absolutely.
We all know
Oh my
that.
God,
It's
yeah.
a
That's
lot.
the hardest.
But there's a guilt for me in working outside of the
It's
home.
hard
and
now
not being
because
there.
I never worked. My kids don't know me to work.
Yes.
And even my husband, like I met my husband, I got married, I had kids. Like it was like I didn't have a really my career was being a mom. Like,
Right.
And that's my main career.
Right.
But like mommy and they're like, well, what do you mean? Like you got to figure it out.
changed.
Yeah,
Right.
it's changed. Yeah.
Because your children, anybody have small children?
I'm
Liz
the
has
only
the
one with the
baby.
little one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
she's
baby.
going to be 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because Angela, your kids are teenagers, right?
So my baby is going to be 16 and then 10. So
Okay.
yeah, bigger
Yeah,
now.
so
So it's a
that's-
different dynamic too. And
So you each have completely different situations.
yes,
Right.
Yeah.
Like home situations, and then obviously different personalities and then different roles. This is
Right.
incredible that it works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works because our parents since the minute we were all born, told us that we were all best friends and that we came first in each other's lives.
Yeah.
So we come first to all of each other before the business, and that's how we make it work and we juggle it.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, I got pulled away for a little bit with my other job. But so Angela's been running the show, and we appreciate it because she's putting so much time into it. And then I have been basically handling like the accounting end and taxes, and I handle.
She's my IT person. I called her the other day, and I'm like, I'm phoning you as phone a friend. I have no idea what I'm doing. She like talked me through it because for our family business, which she runs, she has had Square for years, so I needed help, and thank God. It's so everything changes so fast.
Yes.
Where it's like, thank God you could Google now, but like I was in a panic, so I was literally like, I need help, and she like walked me through it, and it's like, thank God, because sometimes when you start a business, you don't have that. Right. Kind of thing. And like we're good at
we're a small business. We don't have an IT department. We don't have an HR department. We don't have.
But you all have your separate roles.
Yes.
So who is I know you guys are youngest and second to youngest.
Yes.
Is your oldest sister the most influential?
She likes to be the boss.
She's the boss lady.
Okay.
It's hard for her to give up control.
Okay.
So like.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
And it's coming from a great place.
Like
it's just hard because she's far away right now from us.
Right. She's the one that lives in Texas.
Yes. 5 years ago, her husband's job moved out there. So they, it went from us being like sort of obsessed with one another to now, thank God, there's FaceTime so that I can see her.
Right.
But so it's hard because she sometimes also feels like she can't say too much because she's not physically here.
Right.
But also we want to respect her opinion because we do own the business together.
And we all have different brains and think differently.
Right.
So like she might say something, or Danielle might say something, or like, and I didn't think of it that way, or that's a good suggestion kind of
right.
too.
And Danielle is helping. She works all week as well at her job, but then she's with us most weekends, which is a lot too, because then it's 7 days for her as well.
Right.
So we're just hoping that as the business grows, we can hire some employees and, grow a bit so that it's not constant. All of us
we kind of all run turns. Like we're always running one of us, like even if it's like she needs someone to pick up the baby, or I need someone to get one of them at softball, like we're all like, what's your schedule like, and then like we figure it out.
Right. Well, it sounds like you have a good dynamic, and you kind of are respectful of each other and understand each other's roles.
Yeah.
I like, at the end of the day, you're all family. So I like when you said, you put your relationship, the fact that you're related first.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's probably important and a huge, huge key to the success, because, family-owned businesses, they can be tough,
And we know it.
But pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
So many goods. And I think you have to think it's up to the individuals. I can't say like, it's definitely good or it's definitely bad. It really depends on the people and the parties involved. If you really can understand your strengths and almost separate business and the relationship at times, right?
And
I'm
it's
sure.
Also, we've had to have a few tough conversations here and there when business, because we're only a year in.
Right.
If business, kind of has been up a little
There's
bit
a
up
learning
and down.
curve.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And knowing that if we're doing well, we think it's going to go really well. But if in the event that something happens, we've tried our best.
Yeah.
And that doesn't change our relationship
Right.
if something happens with the business and it's not successful,
Yeah,
But
I'm sure you guys have
things
talked
are going
about
well,
it.
so we're hoping.
I'm sure you've talked about it. Like, okay, if this doesn't pan out, I would think that would be a normal conversation.
Absolutely.
We have it all the time.
I hope not. But
reality, it's hard,
Yeah.
Right.
No, but things are looking up. Business is picking up again.
I'm praying the summer picks up. We had a really great summer last year, so.
Yeah, when we first opened, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we were excited. And then got a little quiet during the winter, and we started to get a little bit worried, but now it's picking up again. And
I'm sure that's normal.
Yeah.
The one thing I love is, and I told you this before, I love, first of all, the power of Instagram is
amazing.
unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
But you guys do Instagram lives.
Yes.
And Angela, usually we see you
Yep.
and your signature red lipstick, which I love.
My Russian red, or what else do
Mac
you use?
red
Mac
now.
red
Mac
now.
red or
Yeah, it's a
Russian
little
red,
different. I like it a little bit glossier than them. They like it more matte.
yeah,
My
I used
sisters.
to like it more matte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, it depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yes.
I need like a really strong, and sometimes I'm all about the liner. like matching,
Yes.
or sometimes I want more of a contrast.
Yeah.
It really depends, right? It's like, who do I want to
And
be?
on the live,
What
you
mood
need
am
a
I in
little.
today?
And
I
on the
agree.
live, you need a little like moisture because you're like I talk so much, and I feel like
Oh,
dries out a little bit.
yeah. All right.
I don't want to be chalky and cakey.
That's so
I love the lives. I think they're
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about decades and clothing and where you guys draw your inspiration. So, what's your favorite decade? We'll start with Angela.
Oh, that's kind of hard. I don't know. When I was little, and we would go vintage thrift shopping with my sisters when they were when we were younger, it was 70s, like bell bottoms we were looking for. Now, I don't know. That's not really my. I don't know. What
Well,
do you
I
think?
think what's so interesting for us now is like we grew up in the 90s. So when bell bottoms came back out in the 90s, my mother was in a state that she couldn't believe that she had gotten rid of all of her
Yes,
bell bottoms.
right.
And I can't believe you're wearing what I wore.
Yeah.
And we thought, I think in high school, my brain was thinking that 20 years prior was so many,
Yeah.
like
Right.
having only being 15, 16, you're thinking, God, 20 years ago was
Yeah,
so long.
you're
and
so
now
old, yeah.
seeing people wear things again, I feel like from the 90s to now,
Right.
and it's 20 years later or whatever, and you're thinking, I blinked and 20 years went by
Yeah.
and kids are wearing our clothes
Yeah,
again.
well, it's funny because I have a bin of like my clothing that I kept, and my daughter was like, "I need to see that bin. I need to see that bin." And literally, she showed up at the store one day and she was like, "This is yours." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So like Y2K is totally in right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
which I kind of love because
Yes.
it's like, oh, I used to love those Tommy jeans so bad. Like I tortured my mother for those Tommy Hilfiger jeans and those Tommy.
Isn't
Hilfiger
that funny? You
shirts.
always remember
So funny.
those items, those one piece
Those
that
classic
that you just had to have.
Yeah.
I remember when pinstripe jeans came out. Remember
Oh
those
my God,
jeans, they're
yes.
pinstripes?
we all
I
had
had them
those.
too. I remember the first pair I had, it was blue and pink and blue and pink
my God, how
pinstripes.
cool.
And then I got a pair of just white pinstripes. Do you remember
Love
that?
that, yes.
That was like the
And it's
I
like you
had to have
almost
Yeah, you have
don't
to have
realize
it.
it. Like for me, I didn't really remember all of the kids wearing like the Dickies pants with like the half top with like a
Yes.
butterfly.
Yes,
Yes.
that's
And
super
that
in now.
Dahlias, like that was so in for my generation. And now when I'm in Manhattan, I see kids walking by. I'm like, what did I do? Why did I get rid of my stuff?
What
Right.
about you saw somebody with your dress
Okay, so
print?
yes, so a young girl the other day walked by me, and I never have done this, and I felt really guilty. But when she passed me, I snapped a quick photo because I called my sister. I'm like, Angela, we used to own this. We used to own this. So the girl wound up passing me again, and I was like an awkward creep. But I told her, I was like, I own a thrift store with my sisters, and I used to own that. But it was a dress, and she's like, I bought it as a dress, and I made it a shirt.
Wow.
And it
Talk
was-
about upcycling.
Yeah, it was. She said she bought it in a thrift shop, and it was like a cute. When they kind of came out with like the set, like everything was looking like 70s. Like we would have probably worn like white boots with
Oh,
it.
I
Yeah.
remember wearing
Yeah.
it with like little sneakers, and
Yeah.
I sent the picture, but like you can't see because I'm wearing
She
like a
has, like, a
white
little
jean jacket
cardigan.
on
Yeah.
or something over it, and I was
She
like,
had
"This
a picture
is
of
it."
herself in it.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
it was
gosh.
like full circle, and I'm like, this little girl, this young woman made. It's the identical dress. She made it into a shirt. It was so cute. It has a little collar on it. But I would say for me personally now, my perfect like inspiration, my era would be like 50s, 60s.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have like this thing in my head that like I would love to have almost like pinup hair. And
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
yeah, and like
And that also is a bit of having a resurge in certain ways.
Yes.
I've noticed, I also think with shows like Maisel
Yes.
and shows that are like even The Crown, if you're
Absolutely.
looking from the beginning, the season one, it was like, I believe it was 50s or
Yes.
60s
Yes.
it was the time frame. But all these shows that are coming out, I think that is very influential. There's a girl on Instagram, and I wish I could remember her name. I'm going to have to find it and send it to you later. So she is British, and she obviously lives, I think she lives in London, but she's young, and she's got like this like pinup hair, and her style, it almost looks like you want to be like, oh, is she in a costume?
Right.
But
Right.
then
We
when
have-
you look closer, it's actually everyday stuff. It's just the way she's styling it.
my God, how
or she'll
cute.
have like one piece that is from that time, and she'll add it in with like a Zara shirt, but you can't even tell it's a Zara shirt.
Right.
And I can't even explain it, the way she does it, and then she sets it to like this really cool music. music from back then.
Love that.
But every time I'm like, is she, and you know she's young. You realize
Right.
she's young, so you're like, well, she's not from the 50s.
Right.
But
So
like,
She's right out of it, though.
it's real, but it's so cool. And I'm
That
thinking,
is
wow,
cool.
that's really cool that she's,
Yes.
it's so influential to this girl. And she
love
she knocks it out of the park, like her style.
So cute.
So I
gotta
think
check
that's,
it out.
yeah, I think that's a part. I think that's great. Okay, so, and then, so 4 women, all with sort of different backgrounds. Did you all go to college?
I did not. I'm the only one that did
You're the
not.
only one that
Yeah, school is not for me.
But you all got married and had children, and obviously some of you live close by. One sister now obviously lives out of state. So I'm just thinking, and it sounds like you guys were kind of always entrepreneurial. Were your
Correct.
parents
Yeah.
entrepreneurs?
Yeah, our parents are. Our dad, he's the hot dog king. If you ever heard of the hot dog king, the New York hot dog
Tell us
king.
about the hot dog king.
Okay. So, oh my God, want to take it over? I don't know. Okay, so my dad started off. He manufactured push carts. He was a sheet metal worker.
Yep.
Years go on. He winds up. A lot of stuff went on. You could read his book. Right now he owns a cart in front of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and he's known as the Hot Dog King. And my sister Elizabeth, who's also a veteran, has a cart next to him. So he is known as the New York Hot Dog King. So we have learned everything from him. And my mother was his right hand before she got sick. So it was like they were a team. So, like, if he did something, she knew. And if she needed something, he did it. Like, it was always in us that, like, you always have somebody if you have, like, your family. So, like, even my dad and us, like, I'll call him and be like, what do you think? And he'll be like, he'll give his opinion. And, like, so I think we're lucky to have that. So
I think it's genetic, though, the entrepreneurial spirit.
And because our aunts and uncles and grandmas were, like, hairdressers and stuff. So, like,
I think, too, with my dad, he used to manufacture. Then we went into actual food vending. But even when things got bad with our family business many years ago, my mom opened a home daycare. Like, it's sort of this idea that we can just do this on our own.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I'm at a point in my life where I will never have a boss again. I'm just going to make it work. So that's why we are banking on the store working. The other business has to work. I just am just not in a place where, like, it has to be my way. Not in a bad way.
Right.
Like, I'm going to do this. This is how it's going to work.
Absolutely.
I think they also was like, try. Try. It doesn't work. You try again. Like, that is a
we
big thing
do
in our
have to take
house,
risks.
even from little. Like, try. You don't like something. You want a horseback ride? Go ahead, try it. You don't like it? Go play softball. You don't like I think we have instilled that in our children, too. Like, what's going to happen? You try. It doesn't work. That's it. You keep going. Like,
I think the biggest thing, and speaking from experience myself, I also own my own, it's really a specialty service, a luxury service. Not everybody can afford or wants a personal stylist. But for me, the biggest thing, because there was a point when I worked for a retailer, a big retailer, styling, then I made the switch and worked for myself. And that jump was scary. I was already, had some success there and, was making great money, had great benefits and 401k and all this stuff. And to walk away from the security of that, making the jump to working for myself.
Of course.
However, once it was done and I had the support behind me, looking back, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Exactly.
Because you know what? I think for me, at least, you don't think of. I think you think like, I want this to succeed and be great and be great. You don't actually think of kind of what you just said, Angela. If it doesn't, that's okay. Yeah. And I'll pivot and I'll make it work or I'll find something else.
Right.
I think more than, than not, people would think. Myself, I was like, well, if it doesn't work, well, you should think it's going to work.
Right. Well, very positive.
But you could have also just gone right back to styling because you were successful at it. You had it on your resume.
Styled it. I went from styling for someone
That's
to
what I mean.
Yeah,
you could have gone back to working for someone if you had to really worry.
Right.
If you couldn't pay your bills.
Right. Or just change it.
Exactly.
And do
pivot
something else.
to a different I agree.
And still do something in the fashion industry, but maybe it's a different outlet or whatever. And I think that's what people get hung up on. Like, this plan has to work. And 9 times out of 10, that plan is not going to work.
Exactly.
It's going to be a version of that plan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you guys
I think we've learned that. I mean, just in life, like, right? You're a little girl. girl, you think what's going to happen, and it doesn't happen that way. Like, come on. Life happens.
Right. But it's good, obviously, to have a plan. But I always say, like, people joke and tell me, you know, like, oh, you're so organized and you're so this and you're so that. And I said, well, for me, that's a way of feeling in control.
Right.
Of course.
And it's to be organized. I always have a plan. However, I always make sure it's flexible.
Right.
Yes.
Because you can't be like, well, no, it's got to be this way. You're never going to change and grow and learn.
You don't know what might come up over time.
Right. So the plan is to have a plan, but
Yes.
to be flexible,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because then you're like, oh, great things can happen. I mean, I think one of the best things someone once told me has nothing to do with fashion, actually has to do with dance. And it was a coach said to me, the best things that happen on the dance floor are when you make a mistake because you are in charge, you're the artist. And your job is to make it like it was part of the choreography.
Right.
And I kind of became pretty good at that. Right. You know? I just was like, okay, where people, she would always say to me, like, people don't know your choreography. Only you know it.
Yes.
And
It's like,
your
keep
teacher.
going. You just keep going. I know I hear everyone say that to my kids. Just keep going. No one knows. It's like singing or playing the piano. Like, no one knows because they don't know how to play.
Right.
Or they don't know how to
They
dance.
don't know what you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's many times where even if someone does know, they might be like, was that? They're not
Right.
sure. And you can play it off like, you know. So I love that. But so speaking of that, so what advice would you guys give young ladies who want to own a business? Because I feel like nowadays with all the
Right.
influencers and all, there's a lot more entrepreneurial spirit.
And there's a lot more opportunity
Yeah.
that we
There
didn't
is.
have
Yeah.
20 years ago.
There is, but I feel
Right.
like there's maybe something missing with today's generation.
Oh, definitely.
Because you can get things very quickly. So I think the expectation of success often is, well, I'm going to get this overnight. So what advice would you give?
I would say be patient. And I would
like
say
it.
take the risk. If
Take
you
the
want to
risk.
try it, go with your gut. I feel like I've learned over time, like, go with your gut. You know, you will know. And if it doesn't work out, you try something else. Keep trying until it does work out. Do something you love. It's easier to do something you love and enjoy it than to do something you have no idea what you're doing.
Right.
What else?
But
would you say?
also give yourself time. If that's your goal, practice your craft.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
if it's working for someone and finding out what works for you but doesn't work for you. Like taking, maybe finding a mentor, maybe finding, you have to, I think so many people are just so worried about having the job and the safety net. And obviously that's important, but don't wait. I think you should sort of establish what you want, set some goals for yourself. And if you want to take a risk, you should do it. I think also the great thing about, like we were saying with the internet, is just having the flexibility of having like a side hustle in the beginning.
Yeah.
Trying
see
it
if
out.
it works.
Right. And
then
I think there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
I agree.
Again, I was styling on the side. I had the side
See?
hustle
Exactly.
when I was styling.
Right,
You know, I
right,
had
right,
the 9
right.
to 5
Try it
job
out.
that paid, and I was a single gal. I had an apartment.
Love it.
I didn't have a whole lot of bills, luckily, but that
Right.
was thanks to both my parents and some smart choices that I made, thank God. So I didn't have a whole lot. I had rent to pay though. And also back then there was less to have, I guess.
Yeah.
I did have a cell phone. Yeah, I did. I had a cell phone, but not an iPhone.
Right.
But anyway, I'm sure the plan was like $19.99 a month or something. But I think that the point was to try it. And if it, like you said, if it doesn't work, keep going. And it's not a bad thing to have a side hustle or two, because then you're thinking, all right, well, this isn't working out. But you know what? I'm finding I'm really better at this than I was at that. And it's the
Exactly.
side hustles that become your main thing, right?
I think so.
I think so,
I
too.
think in a lot of ways, there is this room to grow if you start, like on the side, weekends or whatever your job is, and you realize that you can make X amount.
Yep.
And then why not take the chance and doing it full time?
Or if it makes you more happy. Some people are
A lot of it
miserable
is
in
about
miserable
happiness.
jobs.
Yes.
I
don't
think
know
if you do something you're happier, it comes. I think if you're patient, I know kids want everything now.
Yeah.
But like success doesn't happen overnight. You
Right.
gotta be a little patient.
Even people that you think are successful overnight, and
Right.
you start listening to their stories, they
Oh,
were
right.
working at it for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the thing. You
Right.
said the word work.
Yes.
That's the other
Yes,
thing
yes.
that I think lacks.
Yes.
Sometimes
We're-
with
right.
maybe the younger generation, because I get girls all the time saying they want to come work for me, they want to intern, they want to do this, but they're looking at what they think I have or
Right.
may have or have not now, and they want that now. And I'm
Yes.
like, well, listen. let me just tell you what I did when I was your age.
Exactly.
And they look at me like, what? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm not saying you have to struggle necessarily.
No.
But don't expect that it's going to happen.
Time in.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
you
think it's
have
like
to put
10
your-
years to, what is it? You have to do like 10 years to be like, it's considered to be like professional or something.
Or expert at something.
Yeah,
I don't
expert
know.
at something.
Yeah.
I think
So-
too, it's especially with social media, it's like almost unhealthy.
Yeah.
Because all these young people are seeing is like Lamborghinis and these watches and this,
The highlight
this perfect
reel.
body, all of anything, any version
Right.
of that, right?
Yeah.
The money, the this. So I think it's unfortunate for them because they think that that's the end goal, but in a lot of cases, the end goal is maybe not being stressed at work, or enjoying your life,
Spending more time with
Right.
loved ones, or
exactly, not
And-
having a deadline to meet,
Right.
whatever version of it is,
Right, and
but,
it's like
right.
it's the same thing, it's the highlight reel of people's lives, and half of it is fake, and even if it's
Yes.
not fake, it's a picture in a moment in time. It doesn't. You have no idea what went on a minute before, an hour before, a year before, or
course.
It's. You're right. So it's yin and yang. It's good and bad.
Right.
Because we know social media is great, but there's a lot of that part. When if you're talking about entrepreneurship, I think we have to be careful of that. All right. So we're almost out of time, but before we go, I want you guys to give me a tip of the day. So I'll tell you mine first. Give you a minute to
Okay.
think. So, and it can be about anything. It can be about fashion, business, whatever. It can be about food. My tip of the day is the power of an oversized blazer. Let's just break this down for 1 minute. So I used to think like, no, everything's got to be tailored. And I do. I like everything tailored. However, I think to balance out or round out your wardrobe, especially if you're a blazer gal like me, or you just like coats and jackets, I think it's got to become a staple in your wardrobe. And here's how you're going to wear it. First of all, it's going to become like the new workhorse of your wardrobe. So you can add it to almost any outfit. You could have on a little fitted black dress, very sexy, cute bodycon, and you throw it's almost like when you borrow your husband or boyfriend's jacket when you're cold. So wearing the oversized blazer, it's yours though. You're wearing it and it's intentional. Throw it over your shoulders, or you're wearing it. So it's something fitted and then something boxy over. I think that looks
Love
great.
that.
You can layer it over a summer dress, I think, to give it like the juxtaposition of hard and soft. So it's a very feminine dress and then sort of the masculinity of a blazer. You can wear it with one of my favorite ways, wide leg trousers and a t-shirt.
That's what I was
love
thinking
that.
when you said tip of the day. I was
So
thinking about
professional.
that.
And then I also love, one of my favorite ways is even if you want to wear it with a fitted jean or legging and a little top, and then if it's oversized, belt it. Especially if it's like double-breasted,
Yes,
crisscross
yes,
it and belt it. Very 80s.
Yes.
Very 80s. I'm thinking like even shoulder
just-
pads.
yeah, I was thinking
right?
We have a couple beige blazers that are really in right now that you could do that with.
So that's my
Love
tip.
that.
What do we have?
Okay, I'm going to say don't look at a tag, a price. Don't look at a brand or a size. I think girls and people, young girls,
Yes.
get stuck on the size and who makes it.
Yes.
I remember being in high school and I would always get complimented on my jeans from my best friend. He was, fashion. And he'd be like, I love your jeans. I'm like, they're Old Navy. He's like, no, they're not. I'm like, they are Old Navy. I said, I have a big butt and Old Navy only makes my jeans. Like, I only buy Old Navy jeans. So I think buy what fits you. Like, it doesn't matter if the jean is $10 or $100. Buy what is right for your body type.
And what
just
you like.
because, it might be what's in.
Right.
Buy what fits you best. And don't worry about the size. I know because like every brand is different. You can be
Yes.
5 sizes bigger in one and then 5 sizes smaller in another. Do what you feel good in.
And just cut out the tag if it really bothers you.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had
exactly.
customers cut out the tag.
Yeah, I've had clients.
I had a customer who came in for something for her stepdaughter, and she said that it was like these adorable pair of overalls, and she's like, "Can I have a scissor because I can't bring it home with the size?" Yeah. Because same idea. This poor little girl has it in her head that she's not slim. Meanwhile, the size was not big that she purchased, but these poor kids get it in their head.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Do what works best for you.
I just think that that makes so much sense because especially with us in Thrift, we have some things that are like not great, not some amazing brand, but when you aren't looking, because you're not at a specific store, you're at a thrift store and you're not necessarily looking for a brand name, and you wind up finding stuff and you're like, it's this brand.
Yeah, you can tell the quality. It's crazy,
Yes.
right? Just the feel of stuff, and you're like, no, it can't be. And then you're like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then the sizes will really be different usually with vintage.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right?
So I always tell people that's what's tricky with thrift is that people find stuff they love and we only have one of it,
Right.
and then it's not the right size. So, but going off of what you were saying, I have been obsessed with these videos. You go down like a little bit of a rabbit hole on
Yes.
Instagram, and the blazer is so in. But do you remember for like years and years we all wore and I'm wearing them now, like black fitted pants or black pants with like a boot cut. It was like, remember that was
Yes.
like in. So going off of what you said, I was watching these videos and a woman was talking about how the blazers are back in, and to just pair it with a beautiful black pair of trousers, like straight leg, wide leg trousers, and how versatile it is to do a t-shirt or a dress shirt. Or actually we had a customer in the other day who was asking me if we had like dress shirts for under a blazer.
Yeah.
And
A lot of girls
we
look
only
for
had like
that.
one or
I
two and
know.
it wasn't her size. So I was thinking that that could be the next trend for summer, where everyone has like a really cute blazer and you can dress it up, dress it down with just a nice, beautiful pair of slacks. And like we were saying before, Zara, Old Navy, they all make some version of these black fitted, wide leg slacks. And why not? And you could do a beautiful dress shoe, or in the summer, a sandal.
Yeah.
And even length, right? The length can vary.
Yeah. I agree, because there's something at every price point, like you're saying.
Right.
And again, one of my favorite looks is like a very girly dress, maxi dress, or a little skirt, and then maybe a band tee,
So
and then a
cute.
blazer. It's very
Yes.
cute. And then sneakers, pair it with sneakers.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
cute. All right, ladies. Well, I want to thank you once again for joining me in the fashion department.
Thank you.
And we'll give out one more time your Instagram handle. Be sure and follow these ladies. You can check out everything that they have in the store, including the Instagram lives, which you're hopefully going to see Angela
come see
and her
me.
red
Come
lipstick.
see me. Come see me.
It's
Watch me.
watch you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Instagram is Thrift Connecticut, right?
Yes.
Spelled out. Okay. And one more time, the address is 5 River Street, right?
Yes, exactly.
Norwalk, Connecticut. So stop by and visit them, or check them out, scroll, and slide into their DMs, as they say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks.
We appreciate it.
We do.
Thanks for joining me in the fashion department. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. For more inspiration and fashion content, check out my website and follow along on Instagram at wardrobe_envy. And a special thanks to the Factory Underground Studio for recording and producing this show. See you next time.